man, this is every day. This is me waking up, consuming Sixers content, and I have to see this phrase in every article, every social media post, every Sixers YouTube video I watch, if healthy. I'm guilty of it. Kyle Carlin knows much more about the Sixers than I do and will know more than I ever will. The first thing he said in this article when he was reacting to a Bleacher Report piece that we're going to react to regarding, where the Sixers stand amongst the, other starting lineups in the NBA, the first thing he said was, if healthy. The Philadelphia 76ers should be able to boast one of the strongest starting lineups in the league. If healthy, this two-word phrase has taken over Sixers discourse, and I am tired of it. I am so tired of having to open up every Sixers article, every Sixers YouTube video. I mean, I do it all the time. I'm not going to lie. I'm guilty of it. But every single time I consume any piece of Sixers media, it all boils down to these two words, if healthy. Because the 76ers cannot be trusted in the slightest. So every single time we have to talk about the team, we have to insert this phrase, if healthy, because the Sixers, they're bipolar. They have no identity because they can't get any guys on the court, especially their two most highest paid players. And I'm going to make this a challenge for myself this upcoming season. I'm challenging you too. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging myself. Go an entire 76ers season, or if you're just talking with your buddies, about the team or whatever, making a comment on a YouTube video or social media post, try and communicate how you feel about the Philadelphia 76ers without saying if healthy, because this phrase has taken over my entire mindset when it comes to this team, because every time I try and be optimistic about the 76ers, it pops up in my head, if healthy, in just a big, bold font, 300 point size, and it is I'm getting tired of it, man. I'm tired of trying to stir up this false hope about the team, and I don't think that's what Kyle Carlin is doing. He's just trying to be realistic because, of course, the Sixers, health permitting. See, I'm already sticking to my challenge, man. I'm already sticking to it. I'm going to go the entire season without saying that phrase. That's what we're called from now on. The Sixers, they have a lot of trouble getting guys on the court, and when they are on the court, when they are healthy, I didn't say the other word, when they are healthy, there's a completely different discussion about them, but when they are not, when Embiid and Paul George are injured, there's really no hope, and I don't know why some Sixers fans still think that this era of Sixers basketball is worth salvaging, because there is just no way, given where Joel Embiid is at in his career, where Paul George is at in his career, that they have any chance whatsoever of contributing enough, getting on the court enough, and playing at a high enough level for the Sixers to seriously compete for a championship. When you think about it, the Eastern Conference is weak compared to the West, at least. And yeah, the Sixers, they play in the East. They have to go against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks, the Orlando Magic. They are good teams, but they're not, at the top tier of the NBA, I would say. And given their current roster and the talent on that roster, if they do somehow manage to get everyone on the court, then yeah, they could have a decent shot at competing in the Eastern Conference. However, it's just a rocky foundation. You cannot bet on this team playing consistent at all this season, whether it's, just underperforming in the playoffs like they tend to do, and having Joel Embiid or Paul George or whatever other co-star just not get on the court. It's as simple as that. Joel Embiid, in his career, he has had to play so many minutes in the playoffs, man. I was just thinking the other day, and how trying to articulate this. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, the best players you can think of that have won an NBA championship, their teams do not win without them playing as many minutes and at as high of a level as they have played. Giannis, granted, he did miss 2 games in the conference finals because of his hyperextended leg, but he went off in the NBA finals and was logging crazy minutes. And Joel Embiid, when there was optimism about him having that 1 year of the Sixers, finally having everyone ready to go and going on a consistent playoff run health-wise, look, man, just look at all these minutes Joel Embiid has had to play. In the 2021 playoffs, 32 minutes. 2022, 38 and a half minutes. 23, 37. And this last, playoffs against the Knicks, even with him having Bell's palsy and getting off that meniscus surgery, he had to play 41 minutes a night. And that was when Embiid had so many health issues that, at least for last season, that was when Sixers fans were saying, all right, this guy just cannot be healthy enough to sustain a playoff run where if they were to make the finals, would Embiid even be at the level he would need to be, durability-wise, for them to seriously compete with the other team from the other conference. And at this point in his career, what has he done to prove to you that he is capable of doing that? Now, Joel Embiid, I respect him so much for his grit, his toughness of getting on the court, putting it all out on the court for his teammates, given everything that has gone on with his body, his meniscus, tears, his broken face like twice. Markelle Fultz and Pascal Siakam is dealing with his thumb and Bell's palsy. Joel Embiid, he has logged serious playoff minutes. And the Sixers still have not been able to get over the hump. And, of course, it's not completely his fault that, he gets injured and stuff, because a lot of it is just flat-out freak accidents and just getting Bell's palsy out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even know what Bell's palsy was before Embiid, getting it. And, yeah, of course, we could talk about all the mistakes the Sixers have made over the years, but my point is the Joel Embiid or the Paul George that the 76ers need to compete for an NBA championship, they're gone. In my opinion. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, but there has been doctors saying, hey, with all the work that has been done on Embiid, this is not sustainable. Of course, when you think about his meniscus, process that they had, meniscectomy, they had to cleave it out, and it's not necessarily something that just regenerates, and it's something he has to deal with for the rest of his career. It was kind of dubbed as a short-term play for him to get right back on the court against the Knicks, but in the long term, it wasn't necessarily a very effective move when it comes to the Sixers competing for a championship in the future. And that is sort of where I stand with all this, man. The Sixers and where they're at, they're in a transition period. So when I keep hearing all these journalists and Sixers YouTubers, I'm guilty of it as well. I just want to say that for the 80th time. I'm going to stop doing it, though. I have not said it since I made that promise. For the rest of the season, I'm not going to say it. The Sixers, they, and their fans, and of course the media, they have tried to paint an optimistic picture for this team, and it makes sense because we want them to win. We have gone through so much as a fan base. Embiid has gone through so much, Maxey, whatever. But I think enough is enough. The Sixers, they are in a transition period. You have Maxey, Edgecombe. The fact that Daryl Morey even drafted VJ Edgecombe, I think, is a huge sign, given that he has been known as a win-now type of general manager. And the fact that the Sixers, or at least Morey, he decided to draft a young guy in VJ Edgecombe as a cornerstone for the future, I think says a lot about what they think about Embiid and Paul George. And yeah, of course, they're going to ride it out with them because they have to. And this video is going to be, hilarious looking back on if the Sixers somehow make some miraculous run, but it's not going to happen. Embiid, with where he is health-wise, you don't need to take it from me, man. The Sixers, they keep saying that they're going to give an update, and it was like they were going to give an update in like 3 weeks about a surgery, and we really have not gotten one. Of course, we got that Brett Siegel kind of clickbait article that I fell for, but, I don't think Sixers fans, it made it feel any better or any worse. We kind of already know. The writing's on the wall. It's over, bro. I'm going to stop fluffing it up. I'm tired of the same song and dance with this team, and the Sixers, they just got to blow it up, man. Maxey, McCain, VJ Edgecombe, those three players are who I'm looking at for next season. I don't think the Sixers are going to be competing for a championship anytime soon, and I'm going to look like a really huge idiot if the Sixers somehow do make some magical run to the NBA Finals and win a championship. But, bullying does work. This is what I have learned as being a Sixers fan. Whenever I talk down about them, they somehow play better, so maybe I'm doing everybody a favor. Anyway, we're going to just quickly react to this Greg Swartz article on Bleacher Report where he placed the 76ers at number 14, among the best starting lineups in the league, and let's see what he has to say about it. So, the projected starters, Maxey, McCain, Paul George, Oubre, and Joel Embiid. Now, it is interesting that he did put Jared McCain as the shooting guard. And it kind of makes sense since Quentin Grimes did not sign with the team yet. And Grimes is going to come back inevitably, and I think he would be a better option slotting in at the shooting guard spot, given that he is bigger, can defend better, and I think it's just a better fit next to Tyrese Maxey and Grimes. He can do it on both ends of the floor. Jared McCain, of course, he had a fantastic rookie season. It was awesome watching him play. But if the Sixers are still going towards this, win now type of mode, then I think it would make more sense to have Grimes, given that he's more of a, combo guard, can pass the ball really well. Jared McCain, I think we do sort of need more of a sample size of whether he can be a true point guard. Now, Grimes is not a true point guard, but he did average 4 or 5 assists in the Sixers tenure. So I think Grimes is better than McCain right now and does fit well really next to Maxey. Given that Maxey's a little bit undersized, Grimes can help make up for that and give it to you on the defensive end. But Schwartz starts off by saying, how do you even attempt to rank anything that has to do with the Sixers? And that is facts. They're the most bipolar team in the NBA that I've ever seen. Their projected starting five registered just 23 total possessions last season as injuries affected nearly every key player on the roster. Even in the 619 possessions with the big three of Embiid, Maxey, and George, Philly's net rating was just a minus 0.9, and that is a good point given that the Sixers last year, this is not talked about enough, even when Embiid, Maxey, and George were on the court, they were horrible, and it made me want to gouge my eyes out just how bad that team was. They were getting blown out by the worst teams in the league. I just want to forget that season even existed. There's no good power forward option on the roster, forcing either George or the 203-pound Kelly Oubre to man the position. Now, Kelly Oubre, he does bring grit, he does hustle, and he did average 6 rebounds per game last year, but you can't really have him as the power forward. You need some more floor spacing. You need someone who could be a more elite rebounder. And I'm thinking like Bobby Portis, dude. He's like the perfect embodiment of what you need for a power forward to compete in the NBA. Like Aaron Gordon too, man. Just hustle guys. Yeah, they can hustle, but they box out. They have great fundamentals, great footwork, and just rebound, man. Rebound and space the floor. Kelly Oubre is kind of inconsistent with that. And I just really can't have him starting as the power forward. Now, I guess Greg Schwartz is betting on either Jabari Walker or Trendon Watford not starting for the Sixers. And Trendon Watford, he was a decent pickup. I like his passing ability because I hope it reminds me of when Nico Batum came and he was working that high-low with Embiid. That was awesome. His passing is good, but he's not really that good of a rebounder. And Jabari Walker, he's really just known for rebounding, but can't really do anything else, can't really space the floor. So I don't know how that's going to work next to Embiid. So yeah, the Sixers are still kind of screwed when it comes to their power forward spot. I mean, I think that kind of position is at a premium in today's NBA, and they just dodged the Sixers, man. So there's too much talent on the roster to prevent the Sixers falling much further down our list, although moving them any higher feels wrong as well. Kind of does make sense given the uncertainty with Embiid and Paul George. But let's just see real quick who they put over the Sixers. All right, we got the Spurs. And their lineup's going to be De'Aaron Fox, so him versus Maxey, that's debatable. Stephon Castle versus McCain. Now McCain, if he was fully healthy, he would have been the unanimous Rookie of the Year. So, and that's not even a debate. He was putting up great numbers, great efficiency, and Stephon Castle, he was put up decent numbers, but nowhere near McCain. So McCain is clearly better than him. Then Paul George versus Devin Vassell. Now I don't even know if Paul George is as good as Corey Kispert in the year 2025. So it is kind of a toss-up, but if Paul George can still bring elite catch-and-shoot play and some good defense, I think he would be more valuable than Vassell. So I guess I'll give PG the edge there. Then Harrison Barnes versus Oubre. Barnes is like 85 years old. At least Oubre still has some spunk, so we'll give that to Kelly. And Wemby versus Embiid. Now, 2 years ago, when Embiid, dropped 70 on Wemby's head, that, was pretty easy to determine who the better player was. But at this point, with Embiid, it kind of depends on what you think about him coming off the surgery. If he could be at least 80% of what he was, yes, maybe still. But Wemby, he's getting better too. So that's a little bit of a toss-up. I don't know, man. That's kind of tough because the Spurs, they're looking to win this year. Drafted Dylan Harper, but this is the starting lineup. And I guess if you bring Grimes back, if I'm going to think, a 100% Sixers versus 100% Spurs, I'm going with the Sixers, honestly, given that they have more on-ball creation and lethal shooting. Then we'll see who they put next. The Atlanta Hawks. This kind of makes sense, too. I'm not going to lie, man. The Atlanta Hawks, they had a great offseason. They are underrated coming into this season, and they did everything they could to build around Trae Young. And I think this is the best team you probably ever played with. I mean, you got Dyson Daniels, elite perimeter defender, Richesay, who can probably still develop well. Jalen Johnson, good defender too, great on both sides of the ball, really underrated. And Porzingis has a good stretch five and can still bring some defense. So, the Hawks, Porzingis, his injury problems are real too. If he could somehow manage to get his way on the court as well, then the Hawks, they can definitely be a contender in the East. So, yeah, definitely the Hawks are better. The Timberwolves, yep, they made the conference finals. The Lakers, I don't know, man. I mean, you got Luka, you got LeBron, I mean, Austin Reeves, Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton. I mean, not really any true floor spacers, so it's going to, the spacing's a little bit iffy on, for the Lakers, but, you got Luka and LeBron. So, I mean, that's pretty much all that you got to say for that. And, I don't know. I'm still probably taking them a healthy Sixers over them, not going to lie. The Grizzlies, John Morant can't even find his way on the court either. I mean, when Morant is on the court, he's one of my favorite players to watch, to be honest. And KCP is kind of washed. He looked washed with the Magic. Maybe it was just a bad situation for him. I'm probably still taking the Sixers over the Grizzlies. The Knicks, the Knicks made the conference finals, and they do have some really good defenders in, Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, great offense as well with Brunson, Josh Hart, and, Josh Hart, Knicks fans kind of hate Josh Hart for sometimes. He can have, he can look amazing, but then the next night he looks absolutely terrible and does nothing, but, he is a fantastic rebounder, and, the Knicks don't have to put Josh Hart as their power forward because they got Anunoby sometimes to play cat with Mitchell Robinson, and, of course, you probably got to put the Knicks over the Sixers right now. The Magic. Wow, it's crazy they put the Magic this high. I mean, it seems like everyone is high on Desmond Bane. That makes sense. And if the Magic, they can somehow get on the court too, they can definitely compete in the East. So that makes sense. The Warriors, I don't know, dude. The Warriors got Podziemski, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's old, Steph is old, Draymond's old. They're kind of like the Sixers, sort of. And, the Warriors are more successful than the Sixers, no doubt. But still, the Warriors are kind of overrated. I'm taking the Knicks and the Magic over the Warriors any day. I'm taking the Sixers over them, too. I'm not going to lie. The Clippers, you got Harden still putting up numbers. Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, Derek Jones, Zubac. They're like the Sixers of the West, man. You have no idea what's going to happen with them. And having Bradley Beal and James Harden as your defensive backcourt is good luck with that, man. So, no, I'm taking the Sixers over them. And then, the Rockets, the Cavaliers, the Nuggets, and the OKC Thunder. So I think there are a couple teams that are being overrated on this list that aren't as good as the Sixers, but I do understand the fact that the Sixers, they have no power forward, and we'll see how it all plays out during the season. So number 14 for the Sixers in the NBA starting lineup rankings. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. I've not uploaded in a while. There hasn't been much to talk about, but I'll try and stay consistent, find what I can. I hope y'all continue to show support. I appreciate it. Let's go get 1K subscribers, and let's get it, man. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.